I don't want them to live here. I don't want them here. They came under false pretenses. Many of them came illegally and continue to come illegally.
This is what Douglas Murray thinks about illegal immigrants. Now people are ready to accuse Murray of being intolerant and hateful towards refugees seeking asylum in the West. But can we really blame him for thinking like this? Murray argues that he has valid reasons and clear evidence that illegal immigration is harming the UK and other Western countries in numerous ways. What could be the reason behind Murray's strong stance against illegal migrants? And what truths has he been trying to share about this significant issue all along? Let's investigate a little further.
And we don't want them here. And I'm perfectly willing to say that because it needs to be said.
Douglas Murray has long been warning about the serious consequences of illegal immigration. In his speech at the Oxford Union a few years ago, he pointed out the importance of discussing immigration seriously due to its significant implications for the future of Western countries.
It is not surprising that we will end up arguing for immigration as an economic thing, because we will be giving up our culture, we will be giving up our identity, and we will be saying what some people now do say, which is that the peoples of Britain and Europe have lost their place in the world.
Currently, illegal immigration into Western countries is at an all-time high. People from war-torn nations, particularly where Islam is practiced, seek refuge in the West to live freely and peacefully. However, this creates problems when they arrive. Many migrants are looking for a better economic life and stability, but they often forget that the freedom they seek is a result of the Western culture and social cohesion. Migrants with regressive mindsets sometimes find fault with their host countries, leading to cultural clashes. This is a key issue Murray has been warning about. Murray questions why people would illegally enter a country they constantly criticize and disdain. Why enter a country even though they badmouth its culture and its people every chance they get? If they harbour such hatred for it, why did they come here in the first place?
Hated the Australian people, hated Australian history, hated the Australian way of life, broke into the country illegally and spent my time trying to undermine Australia. Why should I be in Australia?
Murray believes that illegal migrants bring no benefits to our society. What do they contribute? Nothing at all. No good can come from illegal migrants, and we know how true that is. They bring nothing to the table.
What would I have brought the country? What benefit? What moral benefit? What financial benefit? What social benefit? The answer is, you'd have brought no benefit.
Murray insists that governments need to take decisive action and tell those who dislike their new country to go back. It's as simple as that.
I think we have to start saying very clearly, if you don't like it here, go.
When you move to a new country, you must follow its rules. The rules of your home country no longer apply. There's no reason or logic in fighting for the same things you did back there. If immigrants are allowed to bring their culture here, what guarantee is there that these Western countries won't turn into the very places they fled from?
We strip their passports. We need to start doing the same thing with Hamas. We have Hamas leaders in the UK, Hamas members in the UK.
Murray asserts that anyone who supports terrorist groups like Hamas should be deported, noting that there are Hamas leaders living in the UK. He urges higher authorities to take swift action before it's too late.
Calling on the Foreign Secretary, the Home Secretary, the Director of Public Prosecutions, the Attorney General, Prime Minister and others to start doing this, to start taking the passports away and deporting.
It's astonishing but true what Murray says. The Palestinian militant group Hamas's fugitive chief, who ran the group's terrorist operations in the West Bank and served on its ruling body, resides in a council property in London. Even more shocking, this Hamas fugitive received a discount of over £112,000 on a Barnet Council two-storey home worth around £320,700. But that's not all. Although Murray doesn't name him, the fugitive, Mohammed Qasem Sawalha, lives in this sprawling property with his wife Sorsan. The house has a garden and garage and is mortgage-free. Murray insists that UK citizens now face two choices: stand up against what is happening or end up begging on their knees. He warns that the soul of Britain is at risk of being visibly trampled by those who take pleasure in doing so.
The soul of England, the soul of Britain, is about to be trampled on very, very visibly by people who are gleeful in their trampling.
These individuals have defaced and defiled many holy places. However, Murray believes the British won't remain silent for long. Their spirit is starting to awaken with rage at the actions of these illegal immigrants. The people of England are about to retaliate soon, and it might get ugly.
And I know that the British soul is awakening and stirring with rage at what these people are doing.
Murray also states that these illegal immigrants broke into their homes like uninvited guests, took advantage of their hospitality, betrayed the nation, wreaked havoc, and now seek to utterly destroy the country.
People came into our house. Many of them broke into our house illegally. Many of them were never wanted here.
This represents a significant future threat for the European Union, as he believes that accepting 1 or 2 million illegal migrants could trigger a massive wave that poses a grave threat to the entire European Union, its stability, and its security.
Betrayed all of our attempts at hospitality. They've spat in our faces, and now they want to trample everything we have underfoot. No.
Even before things had worsened to this extent, Murray had forewarned that such occurrences would repeat themselves, yet people merely mocked and opposed him. According to Murray, European civilization is currently committing suicide through immigration. Specifically, Western Europe, having initially encouraged immigration to fill low-wage jobs, now finds itself defending traditional values against those of predominantly Muslim immigrants and their descendants.
Nobody on my side, I certainly am not against immigration, and that is not what the motion is about. And you can reinvent it however much you want, but that's not what it's about. It's that there has been too much.
Did you know that according to data from the House of Lords Library, around 40,000 individuals have entered the UK illegally since March 2023? The Illegal Migration Act of 2023 considers asylum applications inadmissible if the claimant entered the UK illegally, though not all provisions of the Act have been implemented yet. But that's not all. In a recent interview on Sky News Australia, Murray highlights the consequences of uncontrolled immigration using Lampedusa, Italy, as a prime example. Lampedusa, a tiny island in the southernmost part of Italy, sits equidistant between Italy and North Africa.
It shows all of us the future of lawless immigration, Rita. Lampedusa is a tiny island. It's the southernmost island of Italy, and it's equidistant between Italy and North Africa.
Over the past 15 years, it has increasingly become a destination where migrants from Africa embark by boat to reach Lampedusa. Murray asserts that he has visited the island himself and describes the situation there as dire. With a local population of 6,000 Italians, within just 36 hours, approximately 8,000 migrants arrived.
36 hours this week, around 8,000 migrants arrived on Lampedusa.
Murray warns that allowing illegal migration on such a massive scale doesn't just overwhelm a border town or an Italian island, it also pushes the problem further inland. If you believe this issue will simply dissolve as migrants integrate into the broader population, that's not the reality. The implications extend beyond immediate areas, affecting social services, cultural dynamics, and potentially straining national resources.
Push the problem away, you push it up, always hoping that it'll just go further and further away and it'll sort of dissolve into population. And it's not the case.
If you consider it, picture the sheer number of people arriving illegally each year, amounting to millions. Douglas Murray argues that at that point, you essentially lose not only your country, but your society as well. This influx not only strains infrastructure and resources, but also challenges the very fabric of cultural cohesion and national identity. It raises significant questions about governance, integration policies, and the long-term sustainability of societal structures.
Millions of people arriving every year illegally into your country. And at that stage, as we have discussed before, you basically not only don't have a country, you don't have a society.
Although Douglas Murray doesn't have a problem with legal immigration in general, he often tells us how important it is to confront these questions. Murray thinks that when you experience migration at the rate that the UK has seen in recent years, you inevitably expand and dilute your definition of national identity. because new arrivals come so rapidly that traditional definitions start to lose their meaning.
If you asked somebody 50 years ago, what is Britishness? What are British values? They would have said it very clearly.
Douglas Murray points out how perceptions of Britishness and British values have evolved over time due to rapid immigration. 50 years ago, the concept of Britishness was more clearly defined around historic institutions like Parliament, trial by jury, the High Courts, prestigious educational institutions, the monarchy, and the Church of England. However, with the influx of immigrants and the need to integrate newcomers, there has been a shift towards redefining Britishness in broader terms such as fairness and kindness.
Happened so fast, we have to end up doing things like saying Britishness is about fair play or being nice to people.
He argues that while kindness and fairness are universally valued, the necessity to accommodate large numbers of immigrants has led to a dilution of the traditional British identity based on historic institutions.
Because it has become very difficult to say what Britishness is or can be or should be for people when immigration happens at this kind of rate.
This shift has sparked ongoing debates about national identity and values. Murray acknowledges the benefits of migration, but cautions that the rapid pace of immigration poses significant challenges, including potential cultural erosion and a loss of national identity if values are not preserved amidst demographic changes.
Migration does bring all sorts of benefits. When it comes at this sort of rate, I would argue it also brings some very negative things as well.